That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat.
All right, my bad. Panther Nation, what's good? Welcome back to Carolina's Armchair GM. I am your host, CJ. And as the title of the live said, another wasted opportunity. Okay. And I'm not as mad this week as I was after the Saints game. Because it really ain't no use of getting that mad. But I'm a little more shocked at this one though. Okay. Because for the most part of the game, Seattle was trying to give us the game. Okay, in certain aspects, in certain ways. All right. I know a lot of people thought that it was probably gonna be a blowout. Seattle's gonna come out there and just destroy us. Jackson Smith and Jigba was gonna come out there and just work our entire secondary. I mean, he didn't do bad. I mean, he's still Jackson Smith and Jigba. But the crazy thing is, we got turnovers and then couldn't take advantage of them. All right. And then you had the big play. I mean big play, because me and the missus were there. And shout out to everybody who was at the bank. The past 2 weeks, the bank has been rocking. When I say rocking, I mean the bank has been rocking. Yeah, more so this week than last week. When I say at game time, the stadium was damn near packed. Damn near packed. So shout out to Panther Nation for that. But and then later in the game, it was like third and it had to be more than 3rd and 15. I can't remember. I think it might have been 3rd and 20. And then you get JC Horn with the face mask. And I'm just like, dude, you do not have to reach up that high to push that guy out of bounds. You had him at the sideline, push him out of bounds, and you got a face mask. Now, mind you, could the offense have got the ball down the field and scored after that? Now, that's another question that we still got to, ponder, because this was not the offense's best day by far. Okay, by far. Now, the last time I went live after a game, I had to go out here and put the blame on the defense. I thought it was a defense that, for the most part, that game cost us the game in New Orleans. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch it this week. If I got to put the blame on anybody, I got to put the blame on everybody on offense. Okay, even with JC's blunder at the end of the game. Okay, even with the face mask, that was a big penalty. But the body of work that the offense put out on the field today just wasn't it. It just was not it whatsoever at all. All right. And before I get into I'm gonna pull the stats up here from the game. But shout out to everybody that's watching. Okay. If you haven't, while you coming in, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button wherever you watching. Please like and follow as well. Still on my way to my goal of 2,000 subscribers, and I appreciate all the love and support. Thank you for all the members. All right, my co-armchair GMs and the front office. I'm not gonna play the video because I have to update the list on the members. I will say this. Had a great week. Okay, great week chilling with the fam. Great Christmas. Let me say, I hope all y'all had a great Christmas as well too. That's why I've been, I ain't gonna say incognito, but yeah, I ain't really putting much of nothing on social media because I've been chilling. Just having me a good old time. All right. Well, let me get into the comments here. Let me see. Nicholas, what's going on? I'm so mad. Our wide receiver room is ass. Our quarterback is mid, though he tried his best. Our old line is inconsistent. Our tight end room is non-existent. And our play caller is somehow worst of all of them. You know what? I cannot disagree with any of that. And I mean any of that. I cannot. I cannot. That's really the way it kind of played out. But I will say this too: you got to give credit what credit is due, and you got to give credit to Seattle's defense. Um, when I say there was not, and let me tell you, and I know there's somebody out here right now that's bashing Bryce, and the whole game was his fault. And everything that happened in the game was his fault. Okay, but you got to give shout out to Seattle's defense, because now, mind you, me being there, I'm sitting there watching it in person. There was not a lot of opportunities for Bryce Young to push the ball down the field. That's why you saw a lot of him dumping the ball off, going to his check down. And the crazy thing was, and I thought this during the game, and I was like, damn, I said Seattle's playing a lot of man on man defense. And in the post game presser, Dave Canales said they played a lot more man defense than they expected. And of course, you all know when Dave Canales has to adjust on the fly, from our experiences, him being our head coach, it does not bode well. Okay. And like I said, that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong. But it seems to me like when Canales has to adjust his game plan or his scheme at all, I ain't gonna say at all, but up to a certain level, it just doesn't work out for him. It just doesn't work out for him whatsoever. I mean, Mike Jack had the interception in the end zone. And the crazy thing was, I'm not gonna lie, I thought they was gonna call that back, but apparently on the replay, there was enough of it was about what, a centimeter of black between his shoe and that white line for them to call it good. Hell, let me see. JC Horn dropped the pick, Derek Brown dropped the pick. We got a what is it? What do we got a fumble. We did get the fumble, but then the defense gave the offense opportunities, and then the offense squandered. Okay, so yeah, it was just a bad day, and the thing that gets me is I'm like, why can't we go out there for once and make the easy path that is put there before us? Okay, easy path is right there, and the easy path is saying, follow me. Okay, and the Panthers be like, you know what? No, you want me to go this way, and everything's gonna be fine. I'm going that way and take my chances. Okay. The good thing is we still got next week in Tampa Bay to go out here, and clinch the division. But let me tell you, I'm not happy about having to go down to Tampa Bay and beat them in Tampa Bay. Okay. To be honest with you, I'm trying to remember the last time we beat Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? A couple years ago, we had a chance to win the division down there too. And CJ Henderson decided he did not want to play football against Mike Evans that day. So we'll see. But yeah, Nichols, I can't yeah, I'll feel you, man. I'm mad this too. SC Pace, what's going on? Xavier Leggett should not be a Panther next season. Man, let me tell you, it's getting to a point where he does something at least once a game, and you're sitting there like, bruh, like why? Dave Canales even said the referee was trying to tell him on that one play, where he got offensive offsides. So the ref was trying to tell him, yeah, hey, you're offside, your foot is over the line, but I don't know if he didn't recognize what he was saying. He didn't hear him. He wasn't listening. I don't know. Okay. MDJ, what's going on? CJ, we had a bad one. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Let me see. Jalen Reed, what's going on with you? Play calling was terrible. Yes. Yes. Okay. And the thing is, and let me bring this up here on the screen as well. Hold on one second. Oh, okay, let me go ahead and share my screen because I don't have any of this stuff ready. Okay, so I mean, if you look, it was just terrible. I mean, yo, Bryce was 14 or 24, okay, for 54 yards. 14 24 for 54 yards. The cat averaged 2.3 yards in attempt. Okay. And the crazy thing is at halftime, I think Bryce had 16 yards passing at halftime. 2 sacks. He had a rating of 45.8. Okay. Rico had 59 yards rushing. Bryce had 27 and the 1 touchdown. Chuba had 12. Mitchell Evans had the 1 rush for the first down. Okay. But when I say this is bad, like this was just terrible. This was terrible. And it's just, to me, it's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. We've had what now? 3 weeks in a row. Okay. Well, let me see. Well, yeah, because if we would have held on against the Saints, and then we'd have beat Tampa like we did last week, the division was ours. Okay. And then you decide whatever you want to do, as far as playing your starters the rest of the season, in that game, in the last 2 games. But and here we are again, got to go to Tampa Bay to try and win another one. But at least we are still in it. Okay, at least we're still in. Oh, and I'm gonna get into the crazy scenarios that we still have available to us, here in a minute. Um, but yeah, I agree with you. Play calling was terrible. But again, like I said, you got to give credit to the Seattle defense. Okay. Now, mind you, there were a couple plays where Bryce could have let the ball go, but it was one play where T Mac was wide open in the middle of the field. But by the time T Mac turned around and got wide open, there was a defender right behind Bryce chasing him out the pocket. You know what I mean? So the offensive line definitely had their struggles today. They definitely, kind of wet the bed, near the end of the game when we really needed them, to hold up. Bryce got sacked on that last drive that we were trying to go down and score some points. And mind you, we were down 20-10 at that point. So we were down 2 scores, but we still need to get down the field and score. But yeah. Let me see. No, let's be completely honest. Panthers weren't scoring if they got the ball back, but they should have been given the chance to. Oh, I'm so mad. I feel you. I feel you. Antonio, what's going on with you, man? How you doing? I say, yeah, he can't adjust. Absolutely can't adjust. Rock Jones, what's going on, cuz? One game for the South, I believe. Keep pounding, CJ. And I believe too. And let me tell you, and this fine, beautiful thing right here, Nella's Laser and Design. She'll tell you. I kept sitting there saying the whole game. I was like, we're gonna win this game. Because I really had a feeling that we were going to win this game. And I think it was still it was plausible. We still could have won that game. We really could have. We really, really could have. Oh, and before I hold on a second, y'all. And before I get too far into this, if any of y'all want to come up here and join, here is the link. I ain't gonna be up here too long, but if you want to come up here and talk your shit, by all means. But okay, so 2019 is last time Carolina won in Tampa. Oh, okay, thank you, dear. I appreciate that. Doug, what's up? Say, hey, just stopping by, helping cook. My bad for the late text back. Not really shocked about the game. This was the week to lay an egg, but you know what Bay came the Tampa, I guess Tampa Bay game next week. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I appreciate you, Doug. Though. Now you good. I saw your text right before I was sitting here scheduling a live and I saw your text, but you good, man. Will, what's going on, man? Seahawks didn't win that game. We showed that we are a young squad. And look, and in person. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Will. I appreciate that, big dog. How you doing? You there, Will?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. Hey, man, appreciate the super chat, big dog. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I just wanted to just toe tap on that comment, right? I was at the
Mm-hmm.
game, I was at the game too, man. And I mean, we made some errors, right? Play
Mm-hmm.
calling, they had a good defensive plan against us, right?
For real.
Um Icky got beat on a couple of plays, right? It was always like something, right? And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
here to cape for any player on the team. There wasn't one thing that any one player did that caused us to lose the game. People jumping on JC Horn for the face mask. Yeah, that was part of the dam that broke the levy that started the flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was so
Facts.
many other things leading up to that, right? So you can't
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, JC Horn did this and all of this, that, and the third. Bryce Young threw for 54 yards. I mean, heck, it wasn't nobody open downfield half the
It it
time,
it it,
right?
re- it really wasn't, but you can't convince some people of that though.
Well, I mean, I'm not here to convince them. I'm talking just literally as I'm watching the game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, um, the Seahawks shown that they are at least a year ahead of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
In
Maybe
their
two.
in their journey, a year, maybe two ahead of us, right? Um, we clearly are light years ahead of where we thought we would be this year, right? Who
Yeah.
thought that who thought that we would take the number one seed um week 17 of the season into the third quarter? Seahawk fans can
True.
say the Seahawk fans can say, "Oh, we won the game," blah 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 blah. But they were sitting on a cork and
Mm-hmm.
about to wet the bed all the way into the third quarter.
Yeah.
No, if you would have just took us this year let's say after we won after off season this last year, and you said before we go into the season, week 17, we're gonna have a chance to win the division, playing the number one seed, take them into the third quarter, all the way into the third quarter, and we lose the game. People would have laughed at me.
Mm-hmm.
So meaningful football in December, late December, going meaningful. We're playing meaningful football in January.
Mm-hmm.
That is so far different than we could have ever imagined. So yeah, I'm disappointed in the results, but I'm very proud of the team and the team's development. And anybody who can't say that, hey, that's shame on you. So
Yeah. Hey, cool. Kev said, stop with the dumb shit. The offense was ass, and the QB was the sole contributor. I agree. The offense was ass, but he was not the sole contributor. Okay, he did not play well, but the offense as a whole did not play well. Okay, I'm not about to sit here and say that Bryce was out there balling and everybody else didn't pick up the slack. I mean, they were ass as a collective. I'm not gonna sit here and say he was the sole contributor, man. I appreciate your opinion. I appreciate your opinion, but you can't convince me that Bryce solely lost this game on his shoulders alone. All right, but I got you though. I got you.
yeah,
Panthers boy, what's
yeah.
going on with you? How you doing? Eternal said Bryce losing me money. I'm sure he lost a lot of people
Yeah,
money today.
yeah,
That explanation doesn't negate what we saw. And but that's the thing, Kev. We saw a whole lot out there. We saw a whole lot. We saw bad plays from Bryce. Okay. We saw receivers that couldn't get open. We saw offensive line that got beat on some key plays. We saw a run game. And like I said, give credit to Seattle's defense. Because let me see, we had what was here on here? We had 99 total yards rushing. Okay, 99 total yards rushing. And I will say this: Rico Dowdle, 2 weeks in a row, has been shoestring tackles away from breaking some long runs. 2 weeks in a row. He had a few against Tampa Bay, and he had a few out here today. If he could have got over a couple shoestring, just foot tackles, I promise you, Rico probably would have ran for probably a good 120, 130 yards, man. It's yeah, it's crazy. But I
right.
got you, cool, Kev. Like I said, I'm not. You know what I mean? If my thing is this, okay? If Bryce Young had all day in the pocket and his receivers were downfield doing jumping jacks wide open, you know what I mean? And the running game was knocking off 8, 9, 10 yards a play, and then he was going out here and just throwing the ball in the dirt all the time or missing wide open receivers, then yeah, I could concede and say, it was entirely his fault. All right. But and like I said, everybody's always I respect everybody's opinion. I just don't agree with that particular part of it. Okay.
Right.
But
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 here's
hey,
what we can't let the Seattle formula We
Mhm.
can't let Tampa replicate that. But they don't. But they don't actually have the cornerbacks to do that,
Yeah, I was gonna
right?
say, Tampa
Right.
doesn't have the talent right now to replicate what. But let me tell you, you know what Seattle did? They did what Evero tries to do, with his zone. Okay.
Hmm.
Seattle said, "You're not going to beat us deep," because I guarantee you, Seattle went back and looked at that damn that Seattle game. I guarantee you, they went back. They looked at that damn Seattle game. When I say their safeties were helping over the top, it wasn't too many one-on-one matchups like that. T Mac did have a shot at that fourth down catch, which would have been nullified because XL was offsides or whatever.
All sides, yeah.
you know. But I will say this one thing: either the refs got to call a few more holding penalties on these cornerbacks, or T Mac needs to get both of his hands up and try to catch the ball with two hands. You get what I'm saying? He's got a lot of plays where he's reaching out and grabbing at the ball with one arm. My thing
And
is this:
somebody else
either
holding his other arm. Just hey,
and
yank
yeah,
your arm, do something, right?
yeah, and I'm just like either you trying to be acrobatic or either that or you getting held. It's like one or the other, and it happened again. But even still, if he would have caught that, it would have been negated because XL had the offensive offside penalty.
Right.
All right,
Which is insane. That
yeah,
that he should not be doing that as a year two wide receiver.
nah. Earl, what's going on? Dave need to get off my damn team. No, let me tell you, man. Okay, let me tell you. All right. Um, when it comes to this offense today, okay. Like I said, there were a few plays where Bryce did miss some people on the interception. That was all Bryce. Okay.
Right.
I saw somebody say that if that interception wasn't on Bryce. No, that was solely on Bryce because T Mac would have had a first down if he would have led him to the left. He threw it behind T
Yeah.
Mac, and I think was it Witherspoon or Love or whoever that was right there and turned around and caught the ball. Okay.
Right.
But
Right.
as far as Dave go, like I said, it just seems like I heard somebody say that it's a coin toss between him and Evero about who gonna go out there and be the worst play caller, in the game. But you know what I mean? And it's like, and tell me if I'm wrong, Will, and y'all in the chat tell me if I'm wrong too. But with these running plays, they're highly predictable. Dave Canales is going to run in between the A and the B gaps 95% of the time. He'll throw in a couple toss plays, a couple off tackle plays, here and there. But it's like Dave feels like his offensive line can go up there and dominate everybody's defensive line. And that has not been the case lately. Okay, that has not been the case lately. Everybody has made it a point. You are not going to run on us. Bryce is going to have to beat us, with his arm, and that's the way it's been for the last half of the season. You know what I mean? But my thing with Dave is too, though, is I feel he gets into these modes where he gets hella conservative, or like I've been saying for a few weeks now, when he gets into his game plan, all right, and his game plan doesn't work, it seems like his plan B, plan C, plan D just don't be it. Even if he has, a plan B, a plan C, or a plan D. You know what I mean? And I say the same thing with Evero too. You know what I mean? Now, mind you, I'm not going to talk too much Evero slander on here today, but I will say this: our third down defense is still as ass as it's always been since he's been here. Okay, but
Yeah.
but going back, what I was saying before, you saw from Seattle. Seattle was keeping everything in front of them. And when Bryce Young would check the ball down, their players were running to the defenders, wrapping up and tackling them right where they were at. There wasn't a
Right.
whole lot of missed tackles on Seattle side of the ball. Okay.
And
Unlike us, their damn tight end was running through tackles like crazy. Go ahead, Will.
there you go. I like Mitchell Evans, but he's a rookie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has to develop. This was a game where if we had the right tight ends, right, I
Mm-hmm.
believe that it would have opened up the offense a little bit more because they were playing back. They were in the zone, right? They were
Mm-hmm.
over the top with safety help.
Yeah.
Our tight ends need to be able to beat their linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
That needed to be a part of it, right? And of course, we don't have everything we need. We're still developing as a team. So we have to consider all of those things. I'm still I'm a very optimistic person. I'm always going to be a glass half full type of person. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, there's obviously there's going to be plays that Bryce Young missed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as I was watching that game, it seemed to me, and of course I haven't watched all 22, I haven't rewatched the game, but it seemed to me that there was not a lot of open receivers. And I was watching downfield as best I can, but you try to, you follow the ball when you're at the
Yeah.
game primarily.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Pretty much.
I I don't I'm not down on this team. I'm not down on this loss. I'm just not. Um, I think that we could have won this game. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a better than puncher's chance of going down to Del Mabry Boulevard down in Tampa and leaving with a victory. And just like I'll tell you, go ahead and let the Carolina Panthers ticket office go ahead and charge me for that ticket. I know you're gonna get charged for yours too.
Hey, hold on.
That
Hey,
home
Will.
playoff game.
Hey, Will, hold
Uh-huh.
on. It was funny because last week my wife said, "I know the Panthers did not just take $1 out of our bank account. I said they
They
testing
making
to make
sure
sure that shit's still good."
they testing the system, baby. They testing the system.
Right there, they
they
took a
took
dollar out and put it back in.
they took $1 out and put it back in there. Like, look, just making sure we good, baby. Hey, I am I'm just I am optimistic on what we've done. I know you're not gonna be up here long, and I'm just saying the same thing. I'm
No, you
optimistic.
good. You good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic on the off season, right? Because if we get the same type of draft capital and the same kind of return on investment on our draft class that we got this year, next year,
Mm-hmm.
and we get a good draft class and we do some stuff in free agency, I think we're building something special and we can own the South. I'm
Yeah.
optimistic. And people can, is Bryce Young what we need him to be yet? No. I'm not saying that Bryce Young is
Yeah.
king of the South, but
No, absolutely not.
Carolina Panthers as an organization can be king of the South, though.
Mm-hmm.
And that
I
stadium was
feel you.
rocking. That stadium was rocking.
Yeah.
The fan base was charged up. They need to bring us a playoff game and watch us really get excited.
This is true. This is very true. Nicholas said, "I love this guy's optimism. I needed it." See, we out here bringing hope. Well, not we. We all out here bringing hope and optimism to the Panthers fan base.
Hey, put it in your
Hey,
veins, baby.
I know. Hey, I want to get back to this one. Alpha and Omega here said Ted said they played man and it caught them by surprise. I heard Ted say that, and I'm just like, yo, how in the hell does that catch you does that catch you by surprise that much to the point where you can't go out here and take advantage of some of these man on man matchups? You get what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's
Can,
just me.
can I make a
Yeah, go
soft
ahead.
recommendation here?
Go ahead.
Does this lead me to believe that Dave Canales are not going to be able to compartmentalize between being the head coach on the field and the play caller and adjustments and everything? Is he going to need to turn the keys to the offense over to someone who's going to be able to do that for him with his oversight?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that should not
Yeah.
have caught them off guard that bad. And if it should have been an adjustment made, he needs a real someone really to pull the levers of the offense, right? When the
Mm-hmm.
defense is on the field, how much is he in the headsets? He got to worry about timeouts, who's injured, packages, all the things that a head coach need to be able to do and make decisions. And I don't believe that the dang on his offensive coordinator is truly an offensive coordinator. He's just his assistant.
Facts. Absolute facts. And to me, okay. So you know how you have coaches like if I'm not mistaken, like Ben Johnson. Okay, he is the head coach,
Hmm.
offensive coordinator for the Bears. Kyle Shanahan, same thing for
Hmm.
the 49ers. And I know Andy Reid. You know, I know there's a few more out there. The one thing I'm wondering is, and y'all let me know if y'all know this or not. But you know how a lot of teams they have the offensive coordinators like Joe Brady in Buffalo. Okay. He's up in the booth. Okay. He has a bird's eye view of what's going on down the field. Um, does Dave Canales have that person up in the booth? You know what I mean? And like I said, it might be a dumb question, on my part, but I'm just wondering because my thing is Brad Isaac is his offensive coordinator. Okay. All right.
Hmm.
He's labeled as the offensive coordinator, but where's Brad Isaac all the time? Standing right next to Dave Canales, looking at the same stuff that he's seeing on field level. You know what I mean? Like I said,
Exactly.
I don't, and like I said, it might be a dumb question on my end, and if it is, that's why I'm asking for y'all help. If y'all know the Panthers have somebody up in the booth looking down on the field from that bird's eye view, seeing stuff and relaying information down to Canales and to Brad Isaac, hell, you could say the same thing with Evero as well. I don't know. I don't
Right.
know. But to me, sometimes it seems and like this is just my thinking. If that information was coming in real time, you know, wouldn't Canales wouldn't he be more inept to be able to change his play calling, change his scheme, see what's
Right.
going on, be able to to adjust? And like I said, I'm just throwing that out there, okay? Because I don't really know. All right, but but yeah, and the crazy thing is, next week we're gonna go out there, and next thing you know, they're gonna be throwing the ball down the field. But like I said, and I'm saying this again, you got to give Seattle's defense credit. This defense is probably one of the best defenses that we faced this season. And the thing
Right.
that sucks about it is we were still in the game after halftime. And it's
Right.
crazy because Seattle went down the field. Mike Jack got the interception, got the toe down. Then what happens? The first play, Chuba fumbles. Then they go down and score. Then we get the ball back. Second play, if I'm not mistaken, Bryce throws an interception. And I'm just
Right.
like, dude, come on. Like we
Right.
can't just sit here and give them this game, and that's what it kind of it gives me a little hope and a little optimism about this team because it's like it's there. You've seen us go out here and do it, okay? But it's just like, what is it from week to week that makes this Panthers team so just unpredictable? You know what I mean? Is it something they doing in practice? Is it the film they watching? And like I said, I know a lot of people out there gonna say it's easy. It's Bryce Young. You know what I
It's
mean? And
inexperience.
the true,
That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
yeah,
They are
yeah,
learning how to win. It's been very dang on painful for us as
true.
fans, but they are learning how to win, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the reason why I think that, you know, offensive and defensive coordinators, I think we got the right from a front office perspective. I trust in the front office. They haven't made
True.
bad decisions yet. I trust in the front office thus far, right? They haven't given me any reason not to trust the front office. Um, when Dave Canales says that he wants to be known as a developmental coaching staff, I
Mm-hmm.
think that is also developing the coaching staff. And we're watching them make sausage in real time. We didn't know it was that much cartilage in sausage, right? we didn't know bone marrow went in the sausage, right? Um, but it is I mean, Dave Canales was only a play caller for 1 year before he became a head coach, right? Now, I do
Yeah.
think that I do think he has the chops. He has turned the coaching staff has turned this team around, but he may not be able to have all of the tools necessary to be a Shanahan.
Mhm.
right? He doesn't have that experience. So
Yeah.
maybe we need to get a play caller in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they let McDaniel go out of Miami, maybe you bring in a
Mm.
McDaniel, right?
I've heard that
Maybe
too. Yeah.
you bring in a play caller, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's able to focus solely on the opposing team's defense and how to beat them with our tools.
Facts.
And I don't think that, and I mean, I don't think Brad is a bad guy, but who would hire him? And right now, if you let Brad Isaac go right now, who would hire him as an offensive coordinator? No one,
That's
I don't
that's that's a
think.
damn good question. Damn good question. You
All
know.
right. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
preaching to the choir here, bro.
Yeah. But one thing I will say to that, Will, though, when you're saying he had only 1 year play calling experience before he came to us, but it's crazy though. That was a hell of a year for Tampa Bay in their offense, though. They
Yeah,
could have
exactly.
4,000 yards. You know what I mean? And I will say this. Okay, Turner said we need to trade for Malik Willis. Now, mind you, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I am not opposed to a quarterback competition. I'm not opposed at all. If that is what will elevate Bryce to another level, I'm all for it. And I will agree. I will agree with you on this one here. Okay. We could have another few wins. Especially think about the Arizona game. Okay.
Arizona
If
game was
Bryce,
the
yeah.
one I was thinking about.
Yeah, Arizona, off the top of my head, Bryce could have came back from those early mistakes, okay, and got us back, won that game. That was one. Another one is hold on, shit, the first Saints game.
The first thing I was about to say, the first
Yeah,
Saints game and the
the
Arizona
first Saints
game
game.
but
Hmm.
here's the flip side of that. How many games did he have a fourth quarter game winning drive this season?
Shoot, let's think
But,
about it. Miami,
let's Miami, right?
Dallas,
Right.
Miami, Dallas. Hold on, where is the Panthers schedule at here? You tell you, I get scatterbrained at times. I got to have something in front of me. Okay, Miami, Dallas. The Jets was we held them on defense on that game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers, the Falcons, shit, the Rams. We held them on defense that game, and the Buccaneers. So out of our 8 wins, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those have been game winning drive. This
So
season. This season.
so that's the reason that's the pessimism and optimism. Pessimism
Mm-hmm.
is Miami game, New Orleans game. Optimism is 5 game winning goddamn going drives.
Yeah.
So and then here's the danger in having a QB competition.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the danger in that. You're trying to get ready for the season. Nobody don't got time for you to be tooling around with you getting first team reps. This guy getting first team reps. This guy getting first team. Nobody don't got time for that. Either Bryce wins or loses sees year 4 or in year 5. That's it. You,
Yeah.
I am not. I understand when people are like, oh, we need to bring in QB competition. Listen, Malik Willis had a good game. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You seen that on primetime TV. Holy bad shit. Now he's the answer to all of our prayers. If that's the
No.
case, why don't we trade for Snoop Huntley? Why don't we chase for Snoop?
Yeah. Now I'm not saying Malik Willis is the answer to our prayers. And when I say
No, I was
QB
just being
competition,
sarcastic. I
oh
was just
no,
being
I got you. I
sarcastic.
got you. Now when I say QB competition, okay, we got Andy Dalton back there. All right. But Andy Dalton is Andy Dalton. But if they brought in another QB to kind of say, okay, we all know, okay, whether you like Bryce, whether you hate him, whether you just 50-50 on him. Okay, I think we can all agree on one thing. Bryce Young is going to be the starting quarterback next year. Okay, he has done enough in the eyes of the Panthers organization. Get rid of us as fans and all of our different opinions. Okay, but Bryce Young has done enough in the eyes of that organization. He will be the starting quarterback next year, and they're probably going to go ahead and exercise his 5th-year option, as well. All right, but what I'm saying is, if there is somebody back there, who is competent and who is capable. And it's all, and it's kind of like, you don't want him looking over his shoulder, but you also want him to know that, okay, I need to get out here. I need to get on my game because, I've been doing this for 3 years now, going into year 4. Now they done brought somebody in here. Okay, cool. If I don't step my game up and get where I need to be, then, shit, hell, Dave might bench him again. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's going to be the case next year. I hope that's not the case. But, we all know Dave ain't afraid to bench his starting quarterback. So, but
Competent
we'll
backup is
see.
what is required. Competent,
Yeah.
competent.
Yeah.
I guess the word I would use is competent alternative
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
is a better. And here's the thing: competent alternative, right? Who are you going to
Mm-hmm.
do? Trade for somebody? Because ain't nobody coming off of a competent alternative.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have to be somebody pick up in free agency. Or do the Panthers do they go out and draft somebody? You know what I mean?
In the first
So
round, second round?
no, no, just somebody in general. The more likely scenario, the competent competition at quarterback, or competent backup at quarterback, like you said, will be somebody they bring in as a free agent. More more
Right.
more
And
than
you
likely.
go
I don't.
and
Yeah.
a competent quarterback gonna cost you $25 million. So or do you go get or do you and I got my Christmas wish list. I want
Hmm.
Max Crosby. I would love Max Crosby this offseason, right? Or as a cancellation prize, I'll take Trey Hendrickson, right?
Yeah. If
But
but mm,
hey,
go
he
ahead,
don't
Will.
cost you draft capital. Trey Henderson don't cost
Yeah.
you draft capital. Max Crosby costs you draft capital.
This is true, but does he come in here and stay healthy though?
That's what
You
I'm
know what I
saying.
mean?
That's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying. Max Crosby will be one alpha. Max Crosby
Hmm.
would be 1A. Um, and like I said, Trey Hendrickson would be a consolation prize if
Yeah,
we could get him,
I feel you.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
he, but you know, and I know people gonna scream at me for this, right? Because
Go
especially
ahead with
the Bryce prognosticators.
it.
I would really love to have Kyle Pitts. I take him.
Mm,
I'll take him right now.
I ain't gonna lie, I
Atlanta,
would too, dog.
Atlanta ain't got but $900,000 in cap space right now. Next
Mm.
year they only got $900,000 in cap space, and
And
they
no
ain't
first
got
round pick.
no quarterback.
Oh, that's right. Cause what's his name? Might or might not be ready to go at the start of the season.
Start of the season, so that means they definitely can't cut Kirk Cousins.
True.
So
This is
they ain't got
true.
no money to pay Pitts. So you go
Yeah.
down there as soon as this game over with on the 18th. You go down there, help him pick out a nice apartment over there in Uptown Charlotte. Get him some massages in. You know what I'm saying? Let him walk around the facility. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Especially if they
I
say,
feel
"Hey,
you.
come look at what we doing in our on our." We already you ain't never host no playoff game. We hosted a playoff game, Space Cowboy. So come on over to the Queen City and help us make this run.
Yeah, I hope that can be the case. Hey, and Eternal. And I want to say, he said, see, I'm about wins. It seems some are just about Bryce. And for the majority of the fan base, I think we're all about the same thing. It's just that we have different ways of looking at it. You get what I'm
Hmm.
saying? A lot of us, my opinion is facts. My opinion is law. And if you don't agree with my opinion, then you're wrong. That seems how our fan base has become, which is
Right.
unfortunate. You know what I mean? Because I like people, to have different opinions, different ways of thinking. But when you put the when you put the blinders on, like a lot of people have, and you just got one person, and no matter what, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. But as far as a whole, when the team does bad or we lose a game, then blinders got people looking at one person, and they refuse to look at everybody else. You know what I mean? That's why I say when smoke is needed, you give smoke to everybody who deserves smoke. Okay, like I said, I'm not up here saying that Bryce don't deserve no smoke for this game, but my thing is he doesn't deserve all of it. Okay, there's definitely enough to go around. And Jay Issue, how you doing, big dog? What's going
What's
on with you,
going on, fellas?
man? Give us your thoughts, man. What you think about today's game?
I mean, I'm just tuning in to you, so I don't know everything that you talked about. But as far as like what I've taken from this game, it's a constant thing with Dave Canales, the ups and downs throughout the season. This is second year, so we've seen a lot of it to where we understand what type of coach he is. I mean, I respect him as a coach, but as an offensive coordinator, you got to give that up. Um, I don't see that happening or coming from him because I feel like he needs to take advantage of what he feel more comfortable with. And he was never known to be an offensive coordinator. You was a quarterbacks coach, bro. So I don't understand why you take it upon yourself to feel like you need to be the offensive coordinator, which it bothered me his first season because we went through it with Frank Wright and it's a handful of coaches that came here and felt like they need to do other people's positions when that's not even their job title.
Uh-huh.
Um, JC pissed me off today. He's a Pro Bowler for a reason, but at times he get beside himself, and it just doesn't feel like we should have had any Pro Bowlers go be selected this year. If I'm gonna be honest, I mean Brown, cool, I understand he was snubbed. If I had to pick anybody, he would be the only one. But JC, he's just not consistent. His weakness, I've been stated, like his two weaknesses is speed receivers and shifty receivers, which it could be
Mm.
tech specialists or just shifty receivers in general. It's just something about JC. He get us one week, next week he piss us off. It's the whole team. It's just not just him. And Bryce had
Mm-hmm.
inconsistency this game. The play calling was horrible. Why we keep trying to run it up the middle when we know that's shut down? Why I haven't seen a toss play. If it was one, I missed it because I'm not seeing it enough. And then
I
Bryce
think one.
going one, okay, it wasn't enough. Uh uh shit, what else? What because it was a lot of inconsistency that pissed me off today to where I'm watching the game. I want to walk away. I want to turn it off because we had too many opportunities. I don't
Too
want to hear
many.
that. I don't want to hear the excuse that that the Seattle is the number one seed in their division or the NFC. Bro, we beat the number one seeds throughout the season. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not a good enough excuse. We have the guys to compete. And it's like the mistakes when it piles up, we don't know how to get away from it. We don't know how to come out of that ravel. It's just mind boggling to me of when it starts, it just get thicker, thicker, and everybody jump on board. It's like nobody stands out, getting a person face that done wrong. That's what I want to see on the sideline. I want to see a leader get into the guy that's making the mistakes face on the sideline. We don't have no locker room problem guy, but I still want to see our leaders step up and do that to guys that's causing the mistakes. And Bryce should be one of them. I don't see nobody approaching Bryce. T Mac was questionable today, but he played. It was illness. The man still went out there and played. I don't know if Bryce took that as, oh man, my boy, he's sick, he not feeling good. I'm just ignoring him today. As long as he on the field, I'm cool. Bro, you still gotta give your receiver some opportunities. You haven't
Facts.
even thrown the ball down the field as much as you should. And then when it's time for T Mac to get the ball, he's not looking for the ball. The man he's not even anticipating of looking back. This man already threw the ball behind him. Stop anticipating and wait for your guys to know that they need at least see your guys look at you to throw the ball. Teammate not even
Mm-hmm.
looking at you. You throwing the ball a yard behind them. Now it's picked off. So
Yeah.
it's a lot, CJ. It's a lot,
It's a
man.
lot. It's a lot. Hey, in the turn, he said this shit is like the 49ers game. The defense play lights out and the offense don't capitalize, but the defense still get blamed for the few mistakes. Have you been listening to the entire show?
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean,
want to ask
yeah, I
that.
mean,
Have you been listening to the entire show? You know, I said earlier, if I have to blame a side of the ball, I'm blaming the offense. You know, you can't. Okay, that's just like if Bryce Young were to go out here and throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, okay, and just say we were still down by 3 points, all right, with 30 seconds to go, and we were down, and whoever team we were playing, we were down inside the 30-yard line, close to the red zone, okay, and Bryce Young throws an interception. Do you think that anybody's going to be like, oh well, you know, we the offense played real good. You know, we can't blame Bryce for anything. That's what I'm saying here, man. That the defense played a great game. You know, could it have
They
been better
really
in some
did.
situations? Yes. Our third down defense is still ass. You know, I don't think anybody's gonna disagree with me with that one. But the fact of the matter is, we can't just sit here and be like, oh, okay, well, the defense played great, so we're not even going to mention the fact that J.C. Horn got the face mask, which I think was a weak face mask call in general. I really think that was a lot of weak sauce. But that's the thing here, though. You got to mention all of it. You can't just push stuff to the side because you know this part did good for 90% of the game, and then the other 10% they folded. You get what I'm saying? Well, for me, let me say for me, it doesn't work like that. You got to mention it all. Nobody is saying that the defense cost us this game. Okay, we easily
everything
could have
should be placed
won
in
this game.
everything should be placed in context, right?
There you go. Yes.
Everything should be placed in
Mm-hmm.
context.
Defense got gas. I mean, they on the field more than the offense. So it's like, what can they do?
Mm-hmm.
At some point, they're gonna break.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel you.
I'll just, I also say that, you know, with everything that Jay Issues just said, it's like we are learning to win, and we don't have all the ingredients, right? We don't, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Nick Scorton is a pleasant surprise, right? But
Yes.
but
Mm-hmm.
but Nick Scorton is not. We still lack a premium pass rusher, right? We still lack that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
The
If
middle of
facts.
our field linebacker play, we lack linebacker capability, right?
Non-existent to
But
that.
so there is pieces that we are still building around, right? And I trust that the coaching staff is going to be able to develop whatever Dan Morgan brings and the scouting team brings in this year, right? I'm just not, and I truly believe that January 10th we're hosting a playoff game. I still believe that. I truly
Got you,
believe
Will.
that. Yeah.
I got you. Cool. Ben says, in theory, we have a crazy wide receiver, tight end, running back corps. An above average to elite QB would have us at 35 to 35 plus a game. Okay, well, you know, and I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that. But let me hold on a second. Let me go back here. Okay. So if you look at the Panthers schedule here, and I will say this, like I said, not to try and ding one side of the ball or the other, but we have put up points in some of these games, you know, where I feel like it really shouldn't be, you know, as close as it was. We've had games where the offense didn't put up points. We've had games where the defense should have gone out there and given us a little bit more of a cushion to where it wouldn't have to be a last minute or game winning drive damn near every time we've won a game this season. That's why I say it can go both ways. Yes, the offense can put up more points. And in some games, yes, the defense can go out there. I give you like the Dallas game. Okay, just like the Dallas game, George Pickens was damn near the entire offense for Dallas in that
A
game.
one man
You
army.
know,
Yep.
yeah. You know, if it wasn't for George Pickens getting down the field, and that game would not have been that close whatsoever. That's why I say, you know, it's enough blame to go around all season long on both sides of the ball. And like Will is saying, this team is still learning. They're not a complete team. We are winning games, but we haven't put that the one game this season, y'all, where we played a complete game. But we went out there and we were like, I bet this is our shit and we gonna take it. The first Falcons game. That's the only game this season that we've won by more than one possession, whether it be a touchdown or a field goal. That is the only game. If the biggest thing about this team right here, they have to learn how to win and put things together. You know what I mean? It would be nice if we could get a win that we're not sitting there waiting until the fourth quarter on the last possession, whether it's offense or defense, and you know we're sitting there like, you know, biting the fingernails like, oh God, here we go again. But you know, in the grand scheme of things, like Will said, this team is still learning. You know, this might be something that they go through this season. Hopefully, they can look back at it and improve on it and learn from it and apply it to next season. Because I'm not gonna lie, next season, let me say, y'all want to see me flip the hell out? Let us go out here and do this roller coaster crap again next year, bruh. I'm telling you, man, my nerves can't take another year of this, man. I
I
swear,
got
I swear.
expectations next season. I got
Yeah,
expectations next season.
yeah, I feel you.
Right. I have
I feel you.
expectations.
Yep, I got you, Will. And I'm going to I'm gonna hold off, you know, and see how this season ends and this season plays out, you know, because the crazy thing is, all right, this Panthers team right here, we could go down to Tampa Bay and win next week. We could get a home game. Now, if we get a home game, hold on, let me see. NFL, let me go to the standings here, y'all. All right, go to playoff. So if we get a all right, if we get a take this comment off. If we get a home game, we're more than likely going to play so we'll play the 5 seed, all right? So if it holds like it is now, we're going to play San Francisco. All right. Just think about if we get this game next week, get into the playoffs, you know, and then get one game. You know what I mean? The expectations are going to run rampant for us next season. And I'm going to try to be one of the ones that try and keep it level, you know, try not my expectations not to get too high. No, I'm not going to have them down in the gutter, you know, but if we get in the playoffs and mess around and win a game, you know, it's going to be some, you know, it's going to be some expectations in Panther Nation. So, you
That's
know,
gonna
like I
be
said,
like
if
trying to
that goes,
contain. That's gonna be like trying to contain a team of wild horses.
it is, man. It is. It really is. But yeah. Let me see. True and understand how we play heavy when it counts. Yeah. Yeah. And my thing was I was hoping that this was going to be one of the games because we have played up and down to our competition all season long. And I was just like, okay, bet. Hopefully this is one of those games where we play up to our competition. You know, and on the ride home, the missus was telling me, she was like, well, you know what, this was Seattle's weather. And I was like, no, damn the weather. We beat the Rams in this same type of weather. You know what I mean? So it's not like, you know, they had this big advantage or anything like that. I'm not gonna blame it on the weather. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie though. It was a couple times. It wasn't many, but it was a few gusts of wind. I was just like, ooh. I was like, okay, I'm glad it ain't blowing, you know, too hard. But but yeah, man, it's gonna be a wild look, Will, it's gonna be a wild time, and then we're gonna get that notification on our phone. The Carolina Panthers have deducted blah 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 from your bank account.
Hey, you already know, player. You already know. Hey,
Uh
I'll tell you, especially if we make the right well, if we make some splash free agency decisions, because you got to think in free agency, people get to choose. Players get to choose where they're going to go in free agency, right?
mm-hmm.
We,
Yeah.
and so if we make a splash like you know, Max Crosby or a premier tight end. I brother, I got expectations.
Hmm.
I expect to host a playoff game. I
I
expect
feel
that.
you. I
So
feel you.
yeah.
Hey, and Jalen, so how y'all feel about XL? Man, let me tell you. At this point, I'm good on XL. Whether they you know they keep him, let him go, or whatever. I just it's just I don't know. I'm the type of person I don't you know you really got to piss me off a lot for me to be just like the hell with you. You know what I mean? Like I try to I try to give everybody, you know, their just due, or try to give them a chance, you know, but I don't know. Like I really don't know now what Excel's role is on this team. You know what I mean? I thought coming in he might be that deep threat down the field, but they don't really use him like that a whole lot. You know what I mean? And then he's had opportunities and he's wasted opportunities. You know what I mean? So I'm not completely out on XL, but whatever they decide to do with him it's whatever. It's whatever. Hey,
Can
but
I
okay,
can I can
chat.
I can I add something to
Yeah,
that?
go ahead,
Can
Will.
I add something
Go
to
ahead, Will.
Yeah. Also, everybody was out on Derek Brown year two. Derek Brown got benched year two. So
Yeah,
gotta let players
yeah,
develop. I
this is
understand the
true.
pain. I understand the
Yeah,
pain. I am with you all the way up to. I just wanted to add that little tidbit in there with you. Is
yeah,
they benched Derek Brown year two, and everybody was like, "Get him up out of here, get him up out of
mm-hmm.
here, trade him for whatever, trade him for a bag of potato chips or whatever." People also
Not a
said that
bag of
about
chips.
JC. Everybody talked about JC Horn because he stayed injured. Get him up out of here. You know what I'm saying? JC Horn ain't gonna ever be on the field. I get it. And the reason why it is because we spent 8 years in purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I do get your frustration though, but I just wanted to add
Yeah.
that tidbit um to you.
Yeah, well, but I will say this. Derek hold on. XL is not Derek Brown, you know, nor JC Horn. Talent wise, you know, for me. I feel like Derek Brown, they were kind of using him wrong the first 2 years. JC Horn had injury, you know,
Hmm.
issues and
Hmm.
whatnot. But and to Nicholas, he said, CJ, I have no idea why you would still want XL on the roster. He's had his chance. It's not the fact that you know I want him on the roster. The fact is he's going to be on the roster next year. You get what I'm saying? Unless something crazy happens and they just decide to move on from XL, I don't see this coaching staff. I don't see Dan Morgan and none of them being
Hmm.
like, you know what? Yeah, now we just gonna cut XL and cut our losses on somebody that they traded up out of the second round into the first round. You know, to draft. You get what I'm saying? Now, I think the worst case scenario with XL is that he keeps on his current trajectory, he won't get his 5th year option, which I think we can all agree that he hasn't earned as of yet. Okay, being a first round pick, even though he's the last pick in the round, he has not earned that 5th year option at all. But a lot of what I'm saying about even like Evero, okay, no matter how you feel about Evero, now mind you, I got to give Evero his just due for what he has done with this defense this season. Okay. But am I going to be heartbroken if they decide to move on from Evero? Absolutely not, because there's a lot of stuff that Evero does that pisses me off. I still hate the parking lot defense that we play on third downs. Okay. Evero backs his linebackers and safeties up 15 to 20 yards. You leave the middle of the field wide open damn near every freaking third down. Every time you send a blitz on third down, I guarantee you they go to where the blitzing player was and get a first down. It happened today with JC. JC blitzed on third down. You know what Sam Darnold threw? Exactly where JC Horn came from. And Smith and Jigba was right there for the catch. You know what I mean? Evero still does things that piss me off. I can't sit here and talk a whole lot of crap about him. Okay, this year because I think he's done a damn good job. But if they decide to move on from him or he takes a job somewhere else, Thank you for your service. I appreciate you. I will holler at you if you come play us sometime. Other than that, it's gonna be afterthought. You know what I mean? And I feel that way about a lot of these players as well. Hell, even Bryce. Even Bryce, and I hate to keep bringing up Bryce, but he's always the hot topic. If they decide that they want to move on from Bryce and want to go somewhere else, it's what it is. You know what I mean? There's very
But the
few
executive,
players that I'm just like, oh God, we can't we can't live. Life will not be the same without. This is a business. You know what I
there
mean? I
is no
know I'm a
Cam
fan.
Newton.
Go
There is
ahead,
no
Will.
Cam Newton. There is no Cam Newton or Luke Kuechly on this roster.
Facts,
It
facts.
doesn't exist on this roster as of yet. I'm not saying that it can't. None of them can't be that. But as of
Mm-hmm.
right now, that doesn't exist. Like if
Yeah.
you were to say you want to package up Excel in a package deal for some draft capital to go get Max Crosby, I can see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can see that, right? But you know, I'm just ready. What's so funny?
It's, I'm a comment. He said Bubba Gump needs to be benched for Coker. But hey,
Oh yeah,
but you know what? They talking about Excel, damn.
yeah, I
But you
know,
know
I
what
know.
though? I can't disagree with that. If you left it up to me, Coker would be wide receiver 2, Excel be wide receiver 3.
But that's the way they
I
play
think
today.
oh
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it was XL. I mean, it was T Mac. It was T Mac,
Coker.
Coker, and then
Yeah.
sometime and then they alternated between Jimmy
Tremaine.
Horn and Bryson Tremaine and XL.
Yeah. Let me tell
So
you.
XL
And
is running as 3 right now.
Yeah, and then again, and let me say, and sometimes I feel like they doing Jimmy Horn disservice. I think they need to get him on the field more because there was a play today where he caught that kind of toss jet sweep from Bryce, and
Mhm.
he tried to cut it outside when I think if he would have stayed inside, even though the defender was on the inside of his blocker, I do think Jimmy Horn would have had enough speed. He probably could have got a few more yards down the field. But I do think that Jimmy Horn is a weapon that they're underutilizing. Now I know because Tony would disagree with me on that one. I know he hasn't been that high on Jimmy Horn too much. Not to say he dislikes him or anything, but we kind of different on Jimmy Horn a little bit. But
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 Jimmy
yeah,
Horn's being
man,
developed. But Jimmy Horn's being developed. Right?
true.
That's part of the problem. You put him out there and he gets, he's not prepared, he's not ready, all those things. And that's what he was talking about. They're a developmental staff. Jimmy Horn got more snaps this week than he got any other week, in my opinion. And at least that's what it looked like to me.
He did. He did. He absolutely did. Bobby Digital said, "Forget that. How about getting a new offensive coordinator? I'm tired of seeing seeing Canals get out coached." I feel you. Mo said, "What's going on, Big Mo? Hard to string wins together when both sides continue to play conservative. Neither side is aggressive, and that's the thing. When we win and the offense is putting up points, Dave Canales is taking shots down the field. Okay. And then you see on the other side of the ball, I have been preaching all year long. Evero, you're not getting enough pressure with your down linemen, your 3 defensive linemen and your 2 outside linebackers. You're not getting enough pressure on hardly anybody. Okay. You need to bring some more timely blitzes. But it was like the Saints game down in New Orleans. And I'm like, well, damn, Evero decided to blitz every other damn play down in New Orleans. You know what I mean? It was like he tried it one game and now he's back to okay, all right, cool. Now I ain't gonna do that no more. I think I saw maybe one blitz today from JC Horn. Um Trayvon Merrick did get a sack, but if I'm not mistaken, Merrick was lined up in the outside linebacker spot, and when he came, nobody blocked him. He had a straight shot to Sam Darnold, and I'm glad it was him instead of Christian Roseboom because I feel like Christian Roseboom would have went and slid right past him. He probably would have slid through the tunnel and out the mid street. But yeah, I'm serious, man. I'm serious. And hey, but you know what though? Damn, I had a question. Okay. So Will and Jay issue. Let me ask y'all this, and chat, man, ask y'all this too. So do y'all think that the Panthers have done enough this season to attract some more high level free agents to come and play for Carolina? Do you think we've done enough, or do you think we have developed enough as a team for other players to be like, you know what, I like what they doing down there. Maybe I can be the missing cog that they need to get the wheel spinning, the gears going.
I think so. I think they could make a case when they start talking to um players and they start talking to agents. I think they can. I don't think that we would have to pay a huge we suck tax to come over and come to Charlotte. We don't have to take hostages now.
Gotcha. Okay, I agree. And I think I think I got a message from Jay in the private chat. I think he's busy. Okay, but I for me, I kind of hope so. You know, I kind of hope so. But I do think it also depends on if you got certain offensive and defensive players who are looking, you know, just say you got some of these guys who are free agents, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Okay. And they go and they look at this Evero defense and they see how he does and how he plays. And you say you get a free agent cornerback that wants to come in and they're like, you know what? Nah, I ain't with all this zone. I ain't with all this bailing at the start. You know, I want to play man to man. You know what I mean? You're definitely going to have to, if we do bring in the corner, God, I hope we can find us another Josh Norman-esque, you know, type corner, or like that Richard Sherman type cornerback who are great, you know, in that zone coverage on that one side of the field. You know what I mean? I honestly think they should mix it up some with JC Horn, but that is just not Evero's system. You know, he's not going to he's not going to have JC Horn travel. You know what I mean? JC Horn
Mhm.
plays the what is it? What's I know I'm gonna mess this up. JC Horn plays the boundary side, right? And
Yeah,
then
he
Mike
played
Jacks plays the
field side.
yes, and he plays the field side. And he's not going to switch that up at all. But I just think it depends. And I think it would help a win next week. Okay, a trip to a home game in the playoffs. I also think it would greatly help if we would have messed around and get a win, you know, at home in the playoffs if we do make it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I will say this. I think Carolina is a lot more of an attractive destination this time this year than we were last year. You know,
Right.
because my thing is if like Milton Williams, you know what I mean? I don't know if it was just a money thing and New England was like, all right, we got a little bit more money. You know, if it would have
Right.
been a situation where it was like, well, you offer me a little bit more money, but I want to go play for Carolina. You know, I like what they
Right.
got going on down there. You know, maybe we can get some more of those people in here to be like, you know what, you might be offering me a few more mil, but I like what's going on down in Carolina. I'm hoping that's the case this year. So
Right. And we'll be paying market value, right? We won't be overpaying for talent,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully not.
I know, you know, my wish list is front seven, right? Mike Jack and JC on because Mike Jack is on contract next season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike
So
Jack will be back.
Mike Jack is back, right? And so you know, we you know that front seven is where we gotta invest, right? Whether it be
Mm-hmm.
I would love edge rusher and I'd like inside linebacker, outside linebacker, inside linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I would like to focus. And if you because that helps Derek Brown.
Yeah,
They if you got a Max Crosby and a Derek Brown lined up on the same side, what you gonna do about that? That's
true.
a bad day for an offensive line. Who you gonna
Yeah.
double team?
Yeah. Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the consensus or the hope going into this season was, you know, Princely and Nick Scorton, you know, would be enough to kind of, you know, tip that scale in our favor as far as the outside outside linebacker spot. But it just hasn't. And you know what? And what I've seen a lot of times too, you seen Nick Scorton and you seen Princely and DJ Wanham and Patrick Jones before he got hurt. You seen them get pressure on the quarterback. But it's crazy though, because it's like when we're getting pressure up the middle, we're not getting pressure on the outside. When we're getting pressure on the outside, there's always a hole for the quarterback to step up during the middle. And then a lot of times when we do get both, we get that pocket to collapse. There's always somebody open at the last minute in Evero's zone. You get what I'm saying? And like Seattle did when they played zone at times a day, they put everything in front of them. Okay, everything. They were stacked across the field. There were not that many gaps in that defense. There were not that many holes in the times that they played zone where it's just like, okay, cool. Let me go to my check down. Let me go to this last look right here before I go to my check down and see where I can find this soft spot in the zone. And when we did do the check down, they rallied. They rallied to the defender, to the offensive player, and they tackled. Seattle tackle. Let me tell you, the Panthers have pissed me off so much last few years missing tackles, and they still do it. They still do it. Let me tell you, I cannot count.
And they stick with their blocker. They married to whoever's blocking them. They in a relationship with them now, right?
Yeah,
they're in a relationship where, if somebody go up to block them, okay, you want to block me? I love you. Let's be in a relationship. I'm just gonna stick with you this whole play. Get off the block, man.
Yeah, for real.
And DJ Wanham, that'll be all, sir.
He said that'll be all. Yeah,
that'll be all. But DJ Wanham does not have a contract. You know what I mean?
So he had 2 years, last year and this year. Yep.
That's it. And so that'll be all. So but I think that Nick Scorton and Princely are great rookies. I think they really elevated the floor of the edge rushing room, right? But we need somebody to elevate the ceiling so these guys can continue to elevate. I think Nick Scorton is going to be a franchise player.
Okay.
I believe he is, but we can't place all that on him right now, right? We have to be able to get an edge rusher in the room to allow him over the next 2 seasons. Can you imagine what Nick Scorton will look like in 2 seasons from now? If he has a running mate on the opposite side, I think it would be incredible.
Yeah. What did we say about now I'm not trying to compare him to Brian Burns, but what do we always say about Brian Burns? Brian Burns needed a wingman on the other side of the line. You know what I mean? Kind of like when we had the duo, and I'm talking about inside here, when we had K'Wan Short and Star Lotulelei. Okay. When I say that's probably the last, really good interior defensive duo, that we had. I love Derek Brown to death, but I still don't think A'Shawn Robinson is quite, it. I really wish they would play Bobby Brown more. You know what I mean?
Turk Morton's been a disappointment.
Yeah, and that's what Ernie said right here. Said that D tackle from Kansas City starting to look like a bad sign. I'm not gonna lie, he is. He has been hurt. He's been hurt damn near all season. And we signed him 3 years, $54 million. So he is one that I'm gonna be looking at next year. And I'm like, okay, bro. So we need to see something from you. We need to see you step up and show out, at some point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I said, injuries have held him back this year. But, even when he's been, and who's to say that he's been completely healthy since his first injury? You know what I mean? But when he's played, he's shown flashes, but he hasn't shown to me like any consistency for a decent period of time. So, but
we still got Pat Jones next season.
Yeah, now I ain't gonna lie. I can't wait for Pat Jones to get back because one thing that I liked about Pat Jones know how to set the edge. Okay. When we had Pat Jones in the lineup, we were pretty stout run defense.
So Tavon Thibodeau might be an option then. So if we got Pat Jones coming back and we betting on Turk Morton, then you go out and get a Thibodeau.
Okay.
They didn't pick up his 50. They didn't pick up his 50 option. They didn't pick up Thibodeau's 50 option. So there's options out there.
Who Thibodeau play for? The Giants. That's right.
The Giants. Right. And
Yeah,
he's not getting that. He's not getting as much burn. He had one injured year. He had one 10 sack season in the
yeah,
beginning of his career. But I guess
yeah.
what I'm saying is, they thought that it would be Brian Burns and Thibodeau. They didn't sign Thibodeau's 5th-year option, and they picked up that other kid who's watching dang on the wrong stuff on his phone during dang on uh team meetings. You didn't hear about that?
Not Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter was watching questionable material. I don't want to say what it is on your podcast, but watching questionable material during team meeting. That's why they
Not,
benched him a game.
not him on somebody OnlyFans account.
It's insane, bro.
Wow.
Insane.
Oh, that's the first I heard
Insane.
about that. Hey,
Yeah,
shout,
it's
shout out to Mr.
you
Hunky
know.
Dory, man. Thank you for the $2 super chat. No time for next week's game, 8:15 maybe. Absolutely not. There's no way they're going to flex us to 8:15. That is going to be Pittsburgh and the Ravens. I saw somebody talking about that on X after I got home. Yeah,
Oh, the
I
Pittsburgh Ravens.
highly
Yeah,
I highly doubt.
they're
To
gonna
be
flex
honest
us
with you,
to
I wish
Saturday.
they could.
They're
Yeah,
gonna put
they
us on
very well
Saturday.
could. They very well
They're gonna
could.
put us on
I
Saturday.
just, yeah, I don't know. My thing is, man, let me tell you, give me my game at 1 o'clock. I like my 1 o'clock games. I hate waiting all damn day to watch team play. I swear I do.
You are a creature of habit like me, my friend.
Yes, yes, I am. Yeah, yes, I
Hey,
definitely am.
hey,
But
my
no,
wife can predict anything I need to do. My wife can predict it. She be like, he gonna do this at this time. This is what's
yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah, Janelle does. Yeah, that's me and Janelle. Yep. Creature of habit. Exactly. Vietnam. So what's good, CJ? So I'm glad this happened. It will show everyone that we are not ready yet in some key areas. Offensive line, outside linebacker, D tackle, inside linebacker, and free safety. Yeah. And,
Yes.
and the crazy
Hmm.
thing is though, I can't sit here and give all the smoke to Nick Scott like I did last year. I actually
I
think
know,
Nick
right?
Scott has played pretty well, this season. Now, mind you, have there been a few times where I've been like, damn it, Nick Scott? Yes. But I won't say a complete 180 from last year, but he's definitely turned he's
He's
turned
a
it around.
he's a 120 degree at least.
At least. At
Hey,
least. Um
Nick Scott redemption tour is coming up, baby.
This is true. Thank you, Miss Hunky Door, again for another $2 super chat. So Icky and O line got ran through like Swiss cheese. Yeah, they didn't have their best days today. One of their best days today. Now Bryce got sacked twice, but there were a lot of plays where Bryce was under pressure. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. I think they already picked up Icky's 5th-year option. I know we got Taylor Moton for another 2 seasons at least.
2 seasons,
This year
yeah.
and 2 more
Hmm.
years. So we'll see. Now, mind you, I think there's a few things they need to focus on offensive line. I would say they're going to lock up Cade Mays. The guard
Yes,
spot,
sir.
we get Hunt back. Hopefully him and hopefully Hunt can stay healthy. Damian Lewis. I don't have no issues with Damian Lewis.
Hmm.
But my thing for Icky got to be consistent. Icky kind of like Canales sometimes. He have a great game, and then he'll make you scratch your head with another game. He'll have a great game, and then he'll make you scratch your head the next game. You know what I
But you
mean?
know what?
And I always go ahead.
I'm sorry. There's a blessing in every last part. I know I'm Mr. Optimism here.
Go ahead with it.
He ain't gonna reset the market. He gonna get resigned, but you ain't resetting the market. You gambled on yourself. They said that they tried to give Icky some money last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't take it. He gambled on himself. Now when we go to the negotiating table, listen there, Space Cowboy. You can't reset the market. You gonna get top 12 tackle money,
Mm-hmm.
right? Over this
Yeah.
next 3 seasons, right? That
Yeah.
but at least we not paying freaking $38 million for a left tackle. He's good enough at 21 million.
Mm-hmm. Vietnam said he has, but Scott was completely a punching bag today. He couldn't handle the power run. Yeah, let me tell you, man. When I say Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, I think that's his name.
Hmm.
When I say they were running over everybody on the defense except for the two Brown brothers and Ashawn. And those are the only
Hmm.
two that they were not running over. They broke so many damn tackles today. It was crazy.
Hmm.
It really was. But yeah, Seattle came out there with that run game, and they were not playing. They were not playing at all.
But they playing like the
Uh,
best team in the league.
yep. Oh, hey, shout out to Mr. Hunky Dory for another $2 super chat. He said, Phenom, list on target, Mr. Cap. How we looking? Let me see. Oh, gotcha. Hold on. Let me pull up the cap here real. Let's see. All right, let me make this big there. So, okay. So as of right now, and it's this season. Okay, as of right now, we are sitting at 15 $0.7 million in cap. Okay, so we go to next year. All right, that is $29 million in cap space. And I think that is everybody who we have signed through next season. Okay. So I don't know what kind of roster moves they're going to make or how they're going to free up any cap space. But if I'm not mistaken, this is more cap space than we had going into last year. And
Yeah.
definitely the
And
year
then that's
before.
and that's $17 million on Icky is on that
Yes.
is inside that cap space. So if we sign Icky and convert some of that stuff to a signing bonus, we're gonna end up getting money back to pick up other
Hmm.
players in free agency.
This is true. This is very true. Okay. But yeah, we definitely we definitely looking a lot better than we have in previous seasons. Okay. So we'll see what's going on with that. Kenny, hey, let me tell y'all. Hold on. Okay. So a quick change of topic here. All right. So and I was gonna make sure. So the fantasy football league. Okay. And let me make sure this is up to date here. All right. So, the BBL giver. Let me tell you, if you mess around and win this, I'm gonna have to play that Drake song. He be like BBL. I'm gonna have to insert your name into it. But I lost last week to Mr. House Nicholas. Okay, and let me tell you, when I say I've caught hell 2 weeks in a row with quarterbacks, I lost Patrick Mahomes the week before, and then Jordan Love gets knocked out of last week's game. If Jordan Love would have stayed in there and had a good game, I would have been all right. And then I had a couple people on the bench that actually balled out. So shout out to the House Nicholas and BBL giver. But they are playing for the championship. And right now, I'm getting my ass beat for third place, so I'm probably gonna end up fourth. Because I ain't gonna lie, I forgot to take to get another quarterback for Jordan Love, but I don't think it would have mattered anyway, because Saquon ain't do shit. Josh Jacobs ain't do shit. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I had a few people on the bench do a little bit, but yeah. But yeah, but shout out to like I said, shout out to BBL Giver and House Nicholas, who are playing for the front office fantasy football league championship. And like I said, I will try and get y'all a trophy. Let's see if I can't print it on my 3D printers here and put your name on it for whoever wins first place. Okay. All right. But yeah, man. But shout out to you, Kenny. When I saw your name, that made me think about that, and I was like, "Oh, let me mention the fantasy football league before I forget." See, Taylor Moton isn't worth that much in my opinion. Let me tell, hey, Vietnam, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't disagree with that. I don't. I really
Okay.
don't. I've said this, and I'm stick with this. You will look at Icky getting beat, and you'll look at Taylor Moton getting beat on the same play. You know what I mean? He's still good. I'm not saying he's trash, but he is not the Taylor Moton that we've seen, in previous seasons. Okay,
Yeah, that's true.
but
That is
you,
so true.
you know what I mean? Yeah,
That
I'm
is
I'm
so
not
true.
trashing Taylor Moton at all. I'm glad he's here, but he's not the Taylor Moton that we have grown accustomed to in previous seasons. All right, let me just say that.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
can I just
Go ahead,
say
Will.
I go back to the Dan Morgan thing. And Dan Morgan, I trust, right? Is that Dan Morgan believe it's a fair market value, right? I
Hmm.
mean, on the plate, I mean, prior to the season starting. So maybe this was a bad bet on Dan Morgan. Maybe they could have got him for a little bit less. Maybe they should have let
Hmm.
him play out that last year and then negotiated this year, right? Maybe they
Hmm.
should have did that. I don't know, but this is it's gonna be challenging, right? I think that we just need an edge rusher. I want an edge rusher like a fat kid want cake, man. I want it bad.
Hmm. Facts. Hey, but look at this right here though. Okay, and Vietnam said neither is Ashawn. Okay, look at Ashawn Robinson right here. All right, so let me see if I can pull him up. Okay, so 2025. If we would have cut him before June the 1st, we would save $8 million. Okay, so just think about that. Just think about if per se Bobby Brown has done enough this season to say next year, okay, cool, we might be comfortable with getting rid of Ashawn. Maybe the rookie Cam Jackson fills in at number 2. Maybe they bring somebody else in. But you got Ashawn. He might be a cap casualty. You know what I mean?
Can,
There's not a whole lot of them on this list. We're not getting rid of Damian Lewis. Okay, I don't
can
think
I
we
just say this
getting.
one thing about that at $8 million?
Yeah, go ahead.
You add 3 more million with that, make it 11 million,
Mm,
and you got Kyle Pitts. 11
true.
million dollars, $11 million tight end is top 8 tight end money.
I feel you. Hey, J Issue, what you think, man? I just saw your message. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What you think about that?
What y'all talking about right now?
Well, we kind of skipped subject a little bit. We talking about somebody asked about the cap space for next year. So this is 2026 right here on the screen, and I was saying, in case Bobby Brown has done enough this season, maybe the Panthers looking at him being a kind of a replacement for Ashawn. And I said if we did decide to cut Ashawn before June the 1st, they would save $8.5 million.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Okay, I got you. Let me see. Hypothetically speaking, what if Watson gets cut from the Browns? Man, absolutely not. No, I'm good
Big
on Deshaun Watson, man.
Hey, big gropey up in this joker. Come on, man.
Big gropey.
Come on,
That is
dog.
hilarious.
I'm just trying to keep it a bean, man. Just trying to keep it a
I
bean.
feel you.
See, that's what I'm getting. And so even if they would have cut him, you pick
Hmm.
him up. You don't get him for free. You still got
Mm-mm.
to pay some of that money.
Yeah, true.
And
This is
I
true.
need an edge rusher. I want an edge rusher bad.
Yeah. Vietnam said our first pick should be the best available edge rusher, and missing that grab the best inside linebacker we can. I have no issue with that at all, Vietnam. None. None.
Absolutely nothing at all.
None. He said for a backup role. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Those should be our first 2 picks, hands down. I feel you. All right. Well, cool beans, y'all. Yeah, add y'all to the stage. But yeah, man, it's like I said, another wasted opportunity for the Panthers today.
Mm,
All is not lost, but for the most part, the goal could have been accomplished today to get to the playoff, but it wasn't. Okay,
right.
a lot left out on the field. Okay, if I had to put a percentage on who catching the blame on this one, I'm gonna say 95% offense, 5% defense.
There you
Okay.
go.
You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? You know what I mean? And like I said,
Absolutely.
a couple, and I put like this on the defense. I would say more so the third down defense because it was terrible. and then you got Horn's face mask, late in the game. We were only down 7, and we were about to get the ball back, but they got the first down. But offensively, Bryce missed a couple passes. The offensive line let a good little bit of pressure get through the day. The wide receivers couldn't get open. Canal's play calling was suspect, as it has been, every other game lately. You know what I mean? Every other game, his play calling is just goes in the dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
The running backs, and the thing with the running backs is, a lot of times I feel like it's not necessarily, their ability, but sometimes it's the play call. Because like I said earlier, Dave Canales keeps trying to run the ball up the middle. Okay. Now, mind you, if you had Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt, and Cade Mays all completely healthy, that's something that I think it will probably work a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Austin Corbett, I love him to death, but you know,
He ain't it.
you know what I mean?
Just
But
back up.
yeah, yeah. You've got to. I think sometimes Canales failed. He uses his creativity with some of these play calls, but it's almost like he has a quota. And it's almost like somebody said, you get 3 plays where you can be creative, and that's it. You don't get no more. It's almost like somebody
Mhm.
has him just held back. You get like three tries to be creative with a play, and then if it don't work, then you can't run no more. And I know that's not the case, but that's what it feels like, to me.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
But Will, J issue, any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
You
Oh
can go
well, you
ahead,
got
Jay
it if
issue.
you need it.
Okay. Well, what I was gonna say is I'm optimistic. I think we're gonna beat Tampa. Big Bob Hunt should be back this Sunday
True.
coming up. Um, we was able to effectively run the ball. Um, we had enough running attack against them. Um, I think that we will beat Tampa on Sunday. Let me just go ahead and put that out there right now. We're gonna beat Tampa on
Okay.
Sunday.
All right.
We will get a home playoff game. And it will do volumes for us as a franchise, as a fan base and a franchise to have a home playoff game. We This team's earned it. They've earned it. They have exceeded a lot of people's expectations, and
Hmm.
we will be able to do more in the future. Hey,
Okay.
I appreciate you letting me join on, CJ. You let me get out
Anytime,
my
man.
optimism and my crying and whining, man. Hey, keep pounding,
You
y'all.
good? You
Yes,
good?
sir. Keep pounding
Jay, what
with
you
it.
got?
My final thoughts is the back end of this season. I think we are blessed to be where we at team wise. I mean there's still some stuff to work on and develop. Um but for the most part, we weren't or didn't have an identity. I believe Dave Canales, he got us to the point to where we can build on it now and we're not
Hmm.
missing much, but I believe he's still in his head. I believe he needs to sit down and have a conversation with Dan Morgan, and hopefully they go over his role in this year because he's holding on to the play calling way too much and not seeing himself as a problem. I like him because he can adjust as a coach and hear his guys out, which I do appreciate him for that. But at the same
Hmm.
time, he be in his way too much. There's week in and week out to where he ran out of plays. There's other weeks where he didn't do enough. So it's like
Hmm.
hopefully he look back at this season. I don't think we'll beat the Buccaneers. I don't think we'll sweep them. I don't think that we'll make the playoffs this year, which is fine. We already won more games than what we did in the past years. But hopefully he look back at this year, improve where he went wrong at, and then just build off of talent. We need to get young. Um This season was cool. The emotions going up and down, but we wouldn't be so stressed if we know that we are able to get to the playoffs, but it's just times where the teams they just lack and they just don't show up with
Hmm.
certain games. Um, yeah, that's. I mean, I
I
hope
feel you.
I hope Evero don't be here next year, but a man could wish. Other than that, yeah, that's yeah, that's all I got.
I appreciate it. Hey, and I'm gonna disagree with you just a little bit, Will. I don't think we've earned anything yet. Okay. I do think we take a step in the right direction going out there and beating Tampa Bay and going out there. I think that we go out there and earn that playoff spot. We got to go out there and win. Okay. And then I think we you
Yeah,
know,
I
we've
agree.
earned a
I
little
agree.
bit of respect, you know, in our fan base. You know, I can't say for the
Hmm.
whole league, but you know, I think it needs to start with our fan base. You know, the Panthers need to go out there and earn it and earn a little bit more respect from us, you know, in our fan base. Show us that y'all can go out there and, you know, win when you need to. You get what I'm saying? If we get to the
Right.
playoffs, hopefully we can win the game. You know, we'll see how that goes. It'll be a lot better
Hmm.
being home, you know, than being
Hmm.
on the road. But yeah, man. Like I said, you know, we got one more game left. This season, I think, has exceeded a lot of people's expectations because I've seen people who, you know, who love Bryce Young, people who hate Bryce Young. A lot of them were saying, you know, we are a 4 or 5 win team. And I thought that this year our ceiling was maybe, and our floor, 5 or 6 victories. And I thought our ceiling would be maybe 10. You know what I mean? But I will say this though, too. If we can get Tampa Bay next week, we'll have a winning season for the first time since what 2017 when we made the playoffs.
Hmm.
Okay. Playoff win or not, I think that can also do a lot for the mentality of this team, for their confidence, the organization, you know, as a whole. You get what I'm saying? 8-9 is not bad, but 9-8 would be a lot better, in my opinion. All right.
Absolutely.
But but yeah, man, like I said, well, like the thumbnail and the title said, another wasted opportunity. But you know, I didn't get on here this week and say I hate it here, you know, but because the Saints game was just but again, you know, we had it. Okay. I know the score says 27-10, but we had that. It was multiple opportunities where we had that game. Okay. And we
Mhm.
just couldn't convert. We couldn't capitalize
Yep,
on mostly what the defense did for us today. Okay. The defense did a lot for us today, and the offense could not capitalize. All right.
100%
But cool
agree.
bean. Yes, sir. But all right, everybody. Hey, if y'all stuck with me this long, I appreciate you. Let me first say thank you. Okay. Also, if you don't mind, if you haven't subscribed on your way out, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching on X or if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you like and follow as well. Still on my way to my goal of 2,000 subscribers, and I appreciate all the love and support. And as always, Panther Nation, probably join me Tuesday where do the recap. I'm gonna try to let the results of the championship game play out. I know we got the Monday night game, and we've kind of recapped it, you know, this, but I'll work something out for Tuesday. Definitely crown the winner of our fantasy football league, you know, and then get some of y'all on here, and we'll go ahead and talk about Tampa Bay a little bit next week as well. All right. Look at 54 yards, CJ. 54. Hey, we know popping. We know. We've talked about it. We know. We know. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. JHJ. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, but yeah, but I'll probably be back on Tuesday, like I said, to announce the winner of the fantasy football league, and we'll talk about Tampa Bay and you know some other things. All right, but as always, Panther Nation, I'm gonna leave y'all with 3 things. Number 1, y'all be good. Number 2, y'all be safe, and number 3, as always, Panther Nation, keep pounding, man.